Summer 2024. Violent anti-immigration protests erupt across the country. A year later, and Britain is again grappling with a wave of similar fury. Hundreds of angry locals and hard-right activists have been taking to the streets and protesting outside asylum hotels in scenes that threaten widespread unrest. Ireland too is experiencing a similar surge in anti-immigration violence. But why is this happening again? What makes the protest this year different?
At the end of the day, right, I think that it is a brilliant idea that we left the EU, because there are so many foreigners coming over and taking our jobs. I know it's not just all them foreigners, because I know some of the foreigners are doctors and some of them foreigners can save our lives. There are some foreigners that are coming over and taking our jobs, and not even working.
Okay, you've just seen a number of different people protesting about their countries being overtaken and people's jobs being lost to immigrants. This is nothing new, and people in the West have been protesting about this type of thing for decades. But to be honest, it can't be great for those that feel this way, but immigration will always take place. Imagine this: when Pep Guardiola introduced the false nine to his team, the strikers of that team actually deciding to strike. That would be strange, right? But away from Pep's false nine, every now and again, the limelight is shifted away from the strikers and someone else takes centre stage and shares or even takes over the scoring responsibilities for the team. Yes, taking away their jobs. Today we're going to look at those players who did just that, the defenders, midfielders, and even goalkeepers that have become prolific in that sense, leading the goal scoring for their respective clubs, teams, and fans. But before we start, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. It will help us to take someone else's position or job in the YouTube universe. Alright, let's get into it. Footballers that have caused strikers to lose their jobs. Ruggiero Ceni, the king of goal-scoring goalkeepers. Ruggiero Ceni's career at São Paulo redefined what a goalkeeper could be. Over 2 decades he made 1,237 appearances, captained more than 1,200 times, and scored an astonishing 131 goals. Most came from penalties, 69, and free kicks, 61, and even one from open play. His peak years between 2005 and 2007 saw him score 47 goals, win 2 Brazilian championships, the 2005 Copa Libertadores and the FIFA Club World Cup, where he was man of the match and golden ball winner against Liverpool. Nicknamed Mito, the myth, Ceni's technique came from relentless practice, inspired by Jorginho Pernambucano. His 100th goal came fittingly against rivals Corinthians in 2011, sealing his immortal status. When he retired in 2015, Ceni left as São Paulo's all-time appearance leader and one of the club's top 10 goal scorers, an accomplishment perhaps unparalleled by any goalkeeper before or since. Even after retirement, Ceni's legend endures. Not just in the record books where his records for most goals, most games and most appearances as captain remained untouched, but in the way he forever changed the perception of what a goalkeeper can achieve on the pitch, from penalty boxes to penalty spots. Ceni's story is the ultimate testament to the ambition and the power of breaking boundaries. Jose Luis Chilavert, the bulldog with a bullet shot. If Ceni was consistent, Jose Luis Chilavert was pure theatre. The Paraguayan goalkeeper scored 67 goals, including 8 for his country, an international record for goalkeepers. He was the first goalkeeper to score a professional hat-trick, smashing 3 penalties past Vélez in 1999, and his free kick against River Plate from behind the halfway line remains one of the defining goals in South American folklore, a combination of audacity, observation, and flawless execution. At Vélez, he won 4 league titles, the Copa Libertadores and the Intercontinental Cup. His larger-than-life personality often grabbed the headlines, but so did his talent. Legend has it, he took up to 120 free kicks after training, perfecting his craft. Internationally, Chilavert carried Paraguay to the global stage, captaining his side in the 1998 and 2002 FIFA World Cups, and earning places on the FIFA World Cup team of the tournament in 1998. He was the first goalkeeper to take a direct free kick in the World Cup finals, nearly scoring against Bulgaria in '98. Fiercely proud, Chilavert led with both skill and heart on and off the field, pulling off superhuman saves, marshalling his defence and stepping up at crucial moments to convert set pieces that often turned draws into victories. Chilaver's legacy is not only that of a goalkeeper, but of a trailblazer, a man whose courage and confidence ignited the imaginations of goalkeepers everywhere. To this day, he is celebrated as a Paraguayan legend, and alongside Senni, remains in the pantheon of football's unlikeliest and most entertaining heroes. Hans-Georg Butt, the Bundesliga penalty maestro. Our journey swings us across to Germany, and to a man whose calm and penalty nerve saw him become, in his words, a goalkeeper who scores goals, not a goal-scoring goalkeeper. Hans-Georg Butt, born in Oldenburg in 1974, began as a striker for TSV Großenknetten, which explains his confidence from the spot. His career flourished in the Bundesliga with Hamburg, Bayer Leverkusen and Bayern Munich, where he racked up 26 top-flight league goals, almost all penalties, plus a few in Europe. At Hamburg, Butt drew attention by scoring 7 and then 9 penalties in back-to-back seasons. At Leverkusen, he kept delivering, netting in the Champions League and helping his side reach the final in 2002. His style was simple but effective. Calm run-up, clean finish, and often a big celebration. One celebration backfired in 2004 when Schalke's Mike Hanke scored straight from kickoff while Butt was still jogging back. Even so, Butt never stopped stepping up. Later at Bayern, he etched his name in trivia by scoring Champions League penalties for 3 different Bundesliga clubs against Juventus. Trusted in huge moments, including a decisive group game in Turin, he finished with 32 goals in 497 appearances. Known for his humility and professionalism, Butt's legacy lies in his cool under pressure and his rare status as one of Europe's great penalty-taking goalkeepers, an understated but unforgettable figure among unlikely scorers. Ronald Koeman, the most prolific defender in football history. Few defenders have left a mark like Ronald Koeman, the Dutchman who redefined the attacking centre-back. Born in Zaandam in 1963, he debuted for Groningen at 17, quickly showing positional sense and a rare eye for goal. His career spanned Ajax, PSV, Barcelona and Feyenoord, and the Netherlands, with a staggering return of over 250 goals, 192 of them in 533 league matches. At PSV he scored 51 in 98 games, thriving as a sweeper and a set-piece master. His 21 league goals in 1987-88 remains a defender's record as he regularly dispatched penalties and free kicks. At Barcelona under Johan Cruyff, Koeman became immortal, anchoring the team that won 4 La Liga titles. His crowning moment came in 1992, smashing a decisive free kick in the European Cup final against Sampdoria. In 6 seasons, he netted 67 league goals, most from dead balls, often at crucial moments. Koeman holds the distinction of being the defender with the most free kick goals ever recorded, and he ranks among the top 10 free kick goal scorers in football history. What made Koeman unique was his versatility. Sweeper, midfielder, even emergency striker. He always found the net. His deceptive penalty style and thunderous shot made him unpredictable, and his streak of 25 consecutive La Liga penalties remains untouched by a defender. For the Netherlands, Koeman was central to Euro 1998 glory, part of the Orange's golden generation. With 14 goals in 78 caps, he showed that defenders could be just as decisive as strikers, combining vision, technique and nerve to become one of football's most astonishing scorers. Fernando Hierro, the iron fist with a shooter's touch. On to Spain, where Fernando Hierro is remembered as much for his defensive skill as his knack for scoring goals. Born in Vélez, Malaga in 1968, he was once rejected as not good enough, only to resurge at Real Valladolid and earn a move to Real Madrid in 1989. What followed was extraordinary. 5 La Liga titles, 3 Champions Leagues, 127 goals in 601 games for Madrid, the most by a defender in the club's history. Renowned for his composure, passing range and leadership, Hierro also bombed forward, scoring from penalties, free kicks and late runs into the box. His standout season came in 1991, where he hit an astonishing 21 league goals from centre-back. Appointed as captain, he led the Galacticos with fierce belief and a habit of striking at decisive moments. For Spain, Hierro earned 89 caps and scored 29 times, once the nation's second highest tally, often at crucial points including the late header against Denmark to seal the 1994 World Cup qualification. His penalty accuracy and set-piece threat set a new standard for Spanish defenders. Physically imposing yet cerebral, Hierro proves a defender could be much more than a stopper. He was, at heart, a born match winner. Sergio Ramos, the clutch defender who lived for the big moment. Sergio Ramos was born to lead and to score goals that mattered most. From Camas near Seville, he rose through Sevilla's ranks before joining Real Madrid in 2005 for a record fee for a defender. Handed the number 4 shirt, once worn by Fernando Hierro, he quickly embraced the responsibility and built his own legacy. Over 16 years at the Bernabeu, Ramos became known not just for his defensive grit, but for his extraordinary goal scoring. Over 100 career goals as a centre-back, he struck with both feet, towering headers, penalties, and even free kicks, often in moments of highest drama. Think Lisbon 2014, the 93rd minute Champions League final against Atletico, with them leading 1-0, Ramos rose for a thunderous header, sending Real to extra time and ultimately La Decima. He repeated this knack for decisive goals time and time again, whether against Bayern Munich in Champions League semis, El Clasico battles, or last-minute league clashes. Ramos also perfected the Panenka penalty, coolly chipping under pressure, and passed Ronald Koeman's record for most goals scored by a La Liga defender. As Real Madrid captain and Spain's most capped player, he lifted the 2010 World Cup and back-to-back Euros in 2008 and 2012. Commanding, fearless, and unorthodox, Ramos turned defence into belief, and belief into goals. James Tavernier, the modern-day set-piece dynamo. The Scottish Premier League may lack the global glamour of La Liga or the Premier League, but in James Tavernier, Rangers boast a right-back as prolific as any in football history. From Leeds Academy hopeful to Rangers captain and record breaker, his rise is defined by determination. After spells with Newcastle, Wigan and Bristol City, Tavernier's career exploded in Glasgow. Joining Rangers in 2005, he scored a free kick on his debut and never looked back. Soon captain, he became far more than a defender marauding forward with a licence. A set-piece master, deadly from free kicks, penalties and overlapping runs, Tavernier scored 141 goals for Rangers, the most ever by a British defender, surpassing the legends like Graham Alexander, had over 100 assists, and his creative impact matches his finishing. The consistency sets him apart. Multiple 15-plus goal seasons, including 24 in 2023-24, and a regular 20-goal campaigns, a near unthinkable return for a fullback. Around half his goals came from penalties, converted at over 80%, and the rest from headers, late runs, and clever positioning. He has captained Rangers to a Premiership title, ended Celtic dominance, and even finished top goal scorer in the 2022 Europa League, while leading them to the final. Tavernier's journey is still unfolding, but his place among football's great goal-scoring defenders is already secure. Zico, the White Pele, a midfield mastermind. When it comes to goal-scoring midfielders, few dazzled like Brazil's Arthur Antunes Coimbra, better known as Zico. Born in Rio in 1953, he idolised Brazil's World Cup heroes. After overcoming doubts about his slight frame, grew into White Pele, for many, the greatest Brazilian never to win a World Cup. Zico was equal parts creator and finisher, a master of the no-look pass and one of history's greatest free-kick takers, with an estimated 101 goals from dead balls, 62 officially recorded. His unique technique, leaning back and striking with his instep, produced outrageous curves and inspired generations of set-piece specialists. At club level, he became Flamengo's all-time top scorer with 508 goals in 731 matches, winning league titles, the Copa Libertadores and the Intercontinental Cup. A brief spell at Udinese was equally eye-catching, 19 goals in his debut Serie A season, just fewer than Platini despite injuries. For Brazil, Zico netted 48 goals in 71 matches, starring in 3 World Cups and leading the fabled 1982 team many still call the best team never to lift the trophy. Vision, two-footedness and decisive finishing made him the heartbeat of every single side he played in. Zico was more than a scorer, he was an inventor, blending artistry with clinical edge. His legacy endures from Rio to Tokyo, shaping every midfielder bold enough to mix creativity with goals. Michel Platini, Le Roi of the French midfield. In the pantheon of European football, Michel Platini stands as both scorer of vital goals and midfield artist. Born in 1955 in Joffre, France, to Italian immigrants, he rose from AS Nancy through Saint-Étienne to Juventus, where he became a legend. Platini's hallmark was his remarkable scoring touch for a midfielder. 297 goals in 550 club matches. At Juventus, he won Serie A's Golden Boot 3 straight years and led the side to the 1985 European Cup. Deadly from free kicks and penalties, he struck with calm precision that became his trademark. Internationally, his crowning moment came at Euro 1984, where he fired a record 9 goals in 5 matches, 2 hat-tricks and the winner in the final, guiding France to their first major trophy. In total, he scored 41 goals in 72 caps, a national record for decades. Nicknamed Le Roi, Platini combined vision, grace and unflappable confidence, never sent off in his career. Decorated with 3 consecutive Ballon d'Ors, his influence on midfield play, direct, skillful and incisive, lives on in both his records and the flair he brought to every pitch. Bobby Charlton, England's midfield cannon. No account of goal-scoring midfielders is complete without the iconic Sir Bobby Charlton. Raised in Ashington after World War II, Charlton's story is football legend. Spotted as a schoolboy, he joined Manchester United in 1953 as a Busby babe and helped rebuild the club after the Munich air disaster in 1958. Charlton possessed one of the game's fiercest long-range shots, equally deadly of either foot, combined with stamina, versatility and relentless drive. He played across the midfield and attack, and wherever he featured, goals followed. For Manchester United, he scored 249 goals in 758 games, a record that stood until Wayne Rooney. For England, he netted 49 goals in 106 caps, leading the Three Lions to World Cup victory in 1966, scoring twice in the semi-final against Portugal before winning the Ballon d'Or. Surviving Munich, Charlton became a symbol of resilience, later leading United to league titles, the FA Cup and their first European Cup in 1968, scoring twice in the final. Renowned for his humility and discipline, cautioned only twice, he showed that a midfielder could score, create and inspire. His thunderous shooting, late runs and consistency made him a legend for the club and country. Sir Bobby Charlton's name is etched not in just Manchester United history, but in England football history, and in greatness itself. Laurent Blanc, top club scorer. Have you ever heard of a defender topping the all-time scoring charts of a European club? Well, there is one, Laurent Blanc, who continues to be Montpellier's all-time top goal scorer with 84 goals. For the French team, he scored more than 10 goals in 4 different seasons. His finest season was 1986, where he scored 18 goals in 34 games. After a brief stint with Manchester United, Blanc went on to play for a number of elite teams including Napoli, Barcelona, Marseille and Inter Milan, until hanging up his boots in 2003. He scored a total of 153 career goals, which keeps him right up there with the top scoring defenders of all time. For France, in his 94 national team appearances, the Frenchman also scored 16 goals and was a key contributor to his nation's 1998 World Cup victory. Blanc was instrumental in that competition, scoring the first ever golden goal in World Cup history during the round of 16 match against Paraguay. Unfortunately, after getting sent off for slapping Slavan Bilic in the semi-final against Croatia, he would go on to miss the final. Blanc's international career included more than just a red card. At the Stade de France in Paris, France defeated Brazil 3-0 to win the World Cup for the first time despite Blanc's absence. Frank Lampard, the box-to-box marksman. Few midfielders can claim the scoring record or all-round influence of Frank Lampard. a footballing prince born into footballing royalty. His father, Frank Lampard Sr., played for the Hammers for 18 years between 1967 and 1985, whilst his uncle Harry Redknapp also played for the club between 1965 and 1972, and was manager when young Frank broke into the team at 16 in 1995. It was fair to say the people, the press and the media were not convinced by Frank's ability and felt that he was only there due to a healthy dose of nepotism. His uncle Harry was adamant that Frank would become a top player. Lampard scored 211 goals in 648 games for Chelsea, becoming their all-time top goal scorer. Known for his late runs and long-range strikes, he also added over 100 assists. With Chelsea he won 3 league titles, 4 FA Cups, 2 League Cups, 2 Charity Shields, 2 Champions League and 1 Europa League. He scored 20 plus goals in 5 straight seasons and 10 plus goals in 10 straight seasons. He is one of 10 players and only one midfielder to have scored more than 150 goals in the Premier League, and is 7th in the Premier League's all-time scoring ranking with 177 goals. In 2005 he was named as the Football Writers Footballer of the Year and finished runners-up for both Ballon d'Or and FIFA World Player of the Year. For England he netted 29 goals in 106 appearances, cementing his reputation as one of the most complete midfielders in football history. Every so often football throws us a curveball, something that we didn't really expect. And in the early 1990s, that curveball came in the shape of Paul Warhurst. During a brief glorious spell, he was one of the most lethal forwards in the country.
Bullshit, Mr. Handman.
Seriously, I ain't lying.
Man, you come right out of a comic book.
Look, just watch the video. Paul Warhurst was the kind of dependable defender every manager would like to have around. He could play centre back, fill in at right back, and never looked out of place. Solid, reliable, the type you expect to put in a crunching tackle, not a curling finish into the top corner. In 1991, Oldham Athletic sold him to Sheffield Wednesday for about £750,000. As expected, he played as a defender, but midway through his second season, with injuries to David Hirst and Mark Bright, manager Trevor Francis looked at Warhurst and said, "I need you, can you do me a job?" And again, for a brief, glorious spell, he became one of the most lethal forwards in the country. No need for that again. In a phenomenal sequence, he scored 12 goals in 12 games, and after 4 years as a defender, he was called up to the England team as a striker. However, Warhurst was injured and missed the opportunity to win his first cap. That season, Wednesday reached both the FA Cup and League Cup finals, unfortunately losing both to Arsenal. And while Warhurst eventually drifted back into defence, his name was now forever associated with one of football's most surprising reinventions. He later joined Blackburn, playing in their famous 1994-1995 Premier League win under Kenny Dalglish, and went on to represent the likes of Crystal Palace and Bolton before winding down his career in the lower leagues. Warhurst might not have had a career full of England caps or 20-goal seasons, but for a short while he lived every defender's secret dream, being thrown up front and proving he can do a job better than the strikers themselves. You've just seen the most prolific non-striker goal scorers of all time. A great blend of defenders, midfielders and goalkeepers, scoring goals with the precision and strike rate like many top-level strikers. You have Rogério Ceni, a goalkeeper, scoring an incredible 131 goals in the Brazilian league, and Zico, the greatest player never to win the World Cup, breaking the 500 goal barrier. But for me, it's got to be Ronald Koeman. Remember, we're talking about a defender here that scored 254 goals in 762 club appearances and international matches over 17 seasons. At PSV he scored 51 in 98 games and scored 21 in a single season, to which many strikers would see themselves thriving to achieve numbers like that. He was phenomenal. During his 17 league seasons, he scored 10 or more goals in 10 of those seasons and scored a goal in every season. He also had a run of 25 consecutive penalties and scored 63 kicks, which clearly demonstrate his clinical nature and high level of finishing. We've got to give this man a round of applause for what he's achieved. Thank you, Ronald, for an amazing career. Scoring goals is said to be the most difficult thing to do in football. Equally, it is the lifeblood of the game. It ultimately wins you matches, and with that it brings so much joy and euphoria to the scorer, their teammates, the fans and the club. From day one, strikers have perfected the art of scoring goals by putting in the extra hours in training, working on left then right foot finishing, heading practice and specialist movement, all to gain the extra margins, and you see the results. But imagine being a defender or midfielder or goalkeeper required to do a completely different job for your team and work on those specialised qualities, and yet still managing to find a way to perfect the art of goal scoring. That's special. We've seen it all and it's unbelievable. Midfielders that are the top goal scorers for their clubs and defenders that are the top goal scorers for their clubs too. But when you have a goalkeeper that is in the top 10 all-time scorers list for any club, that's completely ludicrous. We've come to the end now. We hope you've enjoyed the video and were able to reminisce on some of the careers of these non-striker goal scorers. Tell us in the comments who we've missed, and please let us know what other stories or topics you'd like us to cover. Before you leave, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Do it now before someone else comes and steals your job. Thanks for watching, goodbye now, stay safe, and see you next time on Football Central.